This is Wahid from the Art of Education channel, and welcome to a new session on design patterns in C++ and Qt framework. Today we are going to talk about decorator pattern. It's a structural design pattern, and let us attach new behaviors to objects by placing these objects inside a special wrapper objects that contains the behaviors. Decorator, in the terms of structure, is very similar to proxy, but they're completely different. And I talked about proxy pattern in previous session, and we already know that proxy is used to take control over accessing an object. But in decorator, we want to add some extra functionalities to a service or an object. Well, what does it mean? Imagine that we are going to create a notification library which lets other programs notify their users about important events. The initial version of this library was based on a class named notifier, this class. And the notifier had only a few fields, a constructor, and a single method named send. The method could accept a message argument from a client and send a message to a list of emails that we were passed to the notifier via its constructor. A third-party app which acts as a client was supposed to create and configure the notifier object once and then use it each time something important happened. At some point, we realized that users of this library expect more than just email notification. Many of them would like to receive an SMS about critical issues. Others would like to be notified on Facebook, and the corporate user would love to get Slack notifications. So we might come up with this idea to create some subclass from notifier. For example, SMS notifier, Facebook notifier, and Slack notifier. And then we just put those additional functionalities or additional notification methods into these subclasses. Now the client was supposed to instantiate the desired notification class and use it for all further notification. But then someone might ask, why can't you send several notification types at once? For example, if your house is on fire, you probably want to be informed through every channel. So, based on this approach, we might try to address that problem by creating special classes which combine several notification methods within a class. For example, we have SMS notifier, and here we have SMS plus a Slack notifier, or this time we have SMS plus Facebook notifier. Well, this approach is not a good one, and also can make a lot of trouble for maintaining our codes and even extending these libraries on client side. Then what should we do? What's the solution? Extending a class is the first thing that comes to almost every developer's mind when we want to alter an object's behavior. However, inheritance or extending has several serious caveats that you need to be aware of. First of all, inheritance is static. It means that you can't alter the behavior of an existing object at runtime. You can only replace the whole object with another ones that create from a different subclass. And also, subclasses can have just one parent class in most programming languages. So with inheritance, we cannot inherit from multiple classes at the same time in almost many of programming languages except C++, Python, Smalltalk, and a few others. But in the other programming languages, we only can have single inheritance. One of the ways to overcome these caveats is by using aggregation or composition instead of inheritance. Both of the alternatives work almost the same way. One object has a reference to another and delegates it some work, whereas with inheritance, the object itself is able to do that work, inheriting the behavior from its superclass. So, what should we do? What is the best solution for these scenarios or for this challenge? We need to create a wrapper class. Wrapper is the alternative nickname for decorator pattern that clearly expresses the main idea of the pattern. A wrapper is an object that can be linked with some target object. The wrapper contains the same set of methods as the target and delegates to it all requests it receives. However, the wrapper may alter the result by doing some either before or after it passes the request to the target. So here our target is notifier class, and we inherit from this notifier class in something named base decorator. Then we can create different or concrete decorator as we need. For example, SMS decorator, Facebook decorator, and a Slack decorator. These decorators gonna decorate the main functionalities of notifier. So here we have a wrappy field inside the base decorator. It's one object of notifier class, our real service class. And again, here we have the same method as our service class, send message. And again, when we inherit from base decorator, we also can override the send message. And this time inside the SMS decorator, after calling the send from the superclass or our base class, we can call send SMS message. So whenever we create an instance of SMS decorator class that is somehow mimic the behavior of notifier class, and we call the send method in this decorator, it's going to automatically call the send method inside the notifier class and also call an internal method named send SMS. This time we can call send, for example, Facebook message, and this time we can call send Slack message inside these decorator classes. And the beauty of this approach based on this diagram is that we can combine or chain together different decorators. What does it mean? Here I'm going to create an instance from a base class named stack, and it's an instance of notifier class. So if the Facebook option enabled, I'm gonna create a Facebook decorator and pass the stack instance for this decorator. As you can see here, inside the constructor we need to pass a notifier instance, and we want to save it as wrappy inside the base decorator. And after that, I'm going to check if Slack enabled. I'm going to again create a new Slack decorator and pass a stack to the constructor of this class. So if both Facebook and Slack decorator are enabled, I have three different ways to notify the users. First is the notifier itself. Facebook and Slack decorator is going to send Facebook and Slack notification for end user. And then inside the application or our client, I'm going to say app.setNotifier stack. So this stack is a combination of the way that I can send alarms. And then here I'm just need to send call notifier.send a message. So first it's going to send email, and after that I'm going to send Facebook message, and after that I'm going to send a Slack message. It's because we are chained to each other, these decorators. It might sound a little bit strange, but when we implement it, you're gonna get it completely. What does this chain of decorators means? Okay, let's check the structure for this pattern. We have an interface for our service. The name is component, and it contains an execute method. And here we have a concrete component. This is equal to notifier class. And we have some base decorator. Again, these are implement. These classes should be implement the interface. So they have the same set of options for client application. And here we have a couple of concrete decorators. For example, SMS decorators, Slack decorators, Facebook decorators, and anything else. So here we have again two methods. Execute, that it come from this interface or abstract class. And the next one is extra method, the functionalities or additional behavior that we want to add to base class is inside this extra methods. Now in the client we are going to write some code like this. First we're going to create an instance from our concrete component, this class, and then we want to wrap it inside another decorators or decorate it. So I'm going to pass it to concrete decorator 1 and pass the concrete component to that one. and I'm going to save it inside the B variables, and then I'm going to decorate it again using another decorator, another concrete decorator, and pass the B to the constructor of this decorator class. And at last I'm going to call C execute method over the C instance. So here is the chain of method calls: decorator, decorator, component. So we can easily decorate or add extra functionalities to our base or concrete component, as many as levels as we want. Now let's go to Qt Creator and see what does this pattern means in practice. If you are new to this tutorial, I should tell you that I created a project, a Qt widget application project, and pushed it to my GitHub repository so you can download it and work with the codes on your local machine. In this project, every pattern has its own folder, and you can find the files for that pattern inside this folder. And also we have a main entrance named main window. For each pattern here we have a button. So I'm going to create another button here and named it decorator pattern, yeah, and let's change the name also to btn decorator. This is something like a dispatcher, and you can go to different design pattern output or demo using this main window. And if you're not familiar with the Qt framework, you should not be worried, because I just used it as a way to create clients codes, and all the codes for the patterns are completely in C++, and you can apply it to all of your C++ applications. Now let's create or add the files needed for decorator pattern in our application. First, I'm going to add a file, a UI file, Qt Designer Form class named decorator demo dialog. And also I'm going to change the file name and add the file to a folder named decorator. I created it already in this path, so I can use it. And that's it. This is the window that I'm going to use to demo the functionalities of decorator pattern. Here I'm going to add a couple of buttons. Let's add a couple of them, and also close here, and I'm going to add a spacer here and add all of them to a vertical layout, and also add a text widget or text edit, act as our console output, and also align them using horizontal layout. So this one is called notifier. I'm going to call our base class or our concrete component directly without any decoration. This one is a notifier plus SMS. This one, for example, is notifier plus Facebook. This one is notifier plus SMS plus Facebook. And this one is notifier plus SMS plus Facebook plus, for example, Slack. That's it. And also let's change the name. Let's also change it to N, notifier. btn N, btn NS, btn NF. This one is btn NSF, btn NS FSL, and the last one is btn close. Also, let's change the name of TXT to TXT console, and let's attach the click signal to reject a slot, so we're able to get back to the main window and work with the other patterns. And also let's change it to close. That's it. This is our UI. And let's also create a slots, click a slot for all of the buttons. So that's it. We've done well here. Okay, let's see what we should do for the next step. If I just check the diagram, here we need to create a base class. We don't have interface in C++, so we need a base class with a virtual function named execute, and then create a concrete component and also a base decorator with a couple of concrete decorators. Let's do it. So here I'm gonna add new. This time we're going to use C++ class, and the name is, for example, what was the name inside the PowerPoint? Component is not good. Let's change it to iNotifier. iNotifier. To mimic interface functionalities. I'm going to change the name here, and this class does not need to inherit from anything. iNotifier. That's okay. And inside this class, I'm going to add a virtual function, pure virtual function. The name is execute or send message, and also I'm going to pass a string message here, and I'm going to equal it to 0. So it's a pure virtual function, and we need to implement it in all subclasses. That's it. The next class is to, or the next step is to create our notifier class. So again, I'm going to add a C++ class. This time, and the name is notifier, and it's going to inherit from iNotifier. And let's change the name to this one. So that's it. Here I'm going to insert the virtual function. So we need to implement send message inside the notifier class. And let's change, because I don't want to use QDebug. I'm just going to return a message. For example, I'm going to change the output to QString, and here I'm going to change it to QString also. So in the implementation, I'm going to say return base notifier, and in parentheses it's email. I'm going to return it and print it inside the text console. So we can also let's also attach the message to this string. What we should do, our operation inside this method, but in this scenario we just want to return the result. The next step is to create a decorator base or base decorator class, and here I'm going to create a class. The name is base decorator. This class also inherits from iNotifier, and let's change the name. And that's it. For this class, in the constructor, I'm gonna receive an instance of iNotifier. So let's create a iNotifier. The name is Rappy. And I'm gonna receive this as a parameter inside the constructor. So here we can just say Rappy, or you can assign it inside the constructor. And then we need to implement this virtual method. So in the base decorator, first we need to call the send message, and after that, in the other concrete base decorators, we're going to call extra functionalities. And here we just need to return Rappy dot send message and pass this message to Rappy. This is what we need to do inside base decorator. Now let's create SMS decorator. I'm going to add another class. The name is SMS decorator. The decorator, and this time we should inherit from base decorator, not notifier. SMS decorator, and that's it. And again, inside the constructor, let's copy this part from the base decorator. Here we need to receive a notifier, an instance of iNotifier, and I'm gonna save it inside the local, or we don't need local variable here because I'm just gonna pass it to the parent class. So here I'm gonna say call base decorator and pass this wrappy to the parent. So we just save it inside the notifier in the parent, so it's private. Or if you want to do something with this instance in your base subclasses, you can change it to protected, but this time we don't need to do anything, so I'm just gonna let it as it is. Now inside the SMS decorator, I'm gonna insert the virtual function. Here I'm gonna just add this one, the send message from our base class. I'm gonna override it, or I'm gonna implement it. Let's add a body. In fact, we are overriding this because we just implemented inside the base class. So I'm gonna create a string name result, and I'm gonna return the result from this. And here I'm gonna say result equals to the base decorator dot call send message with this message. And here let's create also a private method. It's a private section, private, for example, or you can make it public. Send SMS. Also I'm going to pass the message to this method. Here I'm going to return just a message, SMS send. And what's the message? This is the message. So that's, and I'm gonna call result dot append send SMS with this message. So in this method, when I call send message from base decorator, from SMS decorator, first it's gonna call the send message from the base decorator, and in fact it's it should be another iNotifier instance, and then after that I'm gonna send this message over SMS. Okay, now I'm gonna call the send SMS, not send message, and put a semicolon here, and also let's result dot append a new line here. It's better to have it. So that's it. Now let's add Facebook decorator. Here I'm gonna create a class named Facebook decorator, and change the names, and also I'm gonna inherit from base decorator. So that's it. Let's grab something from header file here. I'm gonna grab all these parts and paste it here, and let's change the name of class, and this time I'm gonna send Facebook message, implement this method, and also override this one, and add it here, and let's pass it to base decorator wrappy. So that's it. And also let's bring the implementation for this send message here. This time we need to call send Facebook messages and pass the message to this method, and that's it. And also let's grab this message and change the SMS to Facebook message. sent. Okay, that's okay. And let's add another decorator for Slack. Slack decorator, change the names and set the base class. That's it. So I'm gonna receive an instance of I notifier. The name is Rappy. And let's pass it to our base decorator class. Base decorator. Oops, it's not necessary to add underline in arguments. Rappy. Let's see if we add it inside this. Yeah, let's change it. And also inside the Facebook decorator, I don't need it. And also in base decorator, we don't need underlining. Okay. Everything is just fine. Let's close all the files. So, where were we? Inside this one. Okay. And also let's add two methods. Let's go to Slack decorator, and here I'm gonna insert a virtual function for this send message, and also a private method, private queueString send Slack message. It's gonna receive a string parameter, implement its body, and also implement or add definition for this method. Let's grab the implementation from SMS and paste it here. This time we need to call send Slack what? Send. I'm gonna call this one, and for this one let's grab Slack message sent. So let's see, what do we have here? Let's compile the application. So everything is just fine. We created all the class that we need for this pattern. Let's get back to our demo dialog. Inside this new class, I'm just gonna add, let's bring it back. I'm just gonna add our concrete component or our concrete notifier. So I'm gonna add what? Let's create a notifier class. Notifier underline. I'm gonna call it notif, and it's a new instance of notifier class. And I'm gonna say UI dot. Let's add the header file. UI dot txt console dot set text. Set text with notif dot send message msg1. That's it. Here we just want to use the notifier. But inside notifier and Slack, I'm gonna change the implementation a little bit. We have a notifier here, and I'm gonna create an instance from SMS decorator. Okay, add the header file, and this time I'm gonna pass the notif as the Rappy to this decorator. Okay, and here instead of calling the notif directly, I'm gonna call SMS. change it to pointer and also use new keyboard. I forgot it. MSG2, or let's say MSG notifier and change it to MSG notifier SMS. That's it. And for the next one, here pay attention that we can pass even decorator or our concrete component notifier class as the parameter for decorators, because both of them are inherit from iNotifier. This time we should change SMS to Facebook, and I'm gonna instantiate from Facebook decorator, and also let's add the header file, and we just need to change it to Facebook instance, and this is message notif. For this one, notif SMS and Facebook. Here, after creating SMS decorator, we need to create an instance of Facebook decorator, and this time instead of passing notif, we should pass SMS decorator, because we just decorate notif with SMS decorator and we passed it, so we want to decorate it with Facebook. So let's also, oops, and we should call send message or our method service method over the last decorator. Okay, and at last I want to combine all the notify or all the decorators together. So here I'm gonna duplicate it, and this time I'm gonna create an instance named Slack, and let's change it to also Slack decorator, add the header file and pass Facebook as its wrappy, and here change it to a Slack. This is NSFSL and this is NSF. These are different type of message that we just want to see in our console, and we don't have anything else. Let's, oh, I forgot to add something here inside this method. We need to create decorator demo dialog, and it stands from this one, and call it dg.exec, and also let's add the header file for this one. Let's run the application to see what we have. Okay, let's click on decorator. A new window appeared. If I press N for notifier, base notification email message N. So if I press S, let's see what happened. Let's also change this in this way, because every time we just set the text, I think we should add. Let's change it to append, and also this one to append, because we want to see the previous results also. Append, 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 and that's decorator. This is base notifier. So if I press normal or notifier plus SMS, we have two messages: base notifier and send SMS sent for message notifier SMS. And if I press this one, notifier plus Facebook, we have again two different calls: base notifier and Facebook message. And this time we have three different calls: base notifier, SMS, and Facebook, and the order will be preserved because we just add them or we change it together in a specific order. And if I press this one, we have four different messages: base notifier, SMS, Facebook, and a Slack message. All of them will be called in the preserved order. So this is the way that we can use decorator pattern to add extra functionalities to a service in our application. But take into consideration our service class and also decorators should inherit from a common base class. For example, in this scenario, we just inherit from iNotifier base class. So I hope you enjoy this session, and this pattern help you in organizing your code. Till next session and checking another the pattern. Goodbye.